Today is May the 7th. The topic is life after high school. Life, yes, after high school for a public school graduate. This is Josh. We're going to start this our time together by why don't you share with me some things that you found, and as you share the fact with me, tell me what year and where you got it.
The fact that I found was that actually 77% of high school graduates that weren't in college actually would have done better if high school would have applied themselves. And 65% of them said they would have done better that are in college now. And
If they had applied themselves while in high school?
Yeah, like high school would challenge them more in high school. And this was from Achieve, on achieve.org,
Okay.
by the company Achieve Inc. on September 2005.
Ooh, you took it 10 years back, so is there any more recent data?
Not that I've seen.
And there's definitely more. That's a 10-year gap, Josh. There has to be more recent data. But just to make sure that I'm clear about the kind of data you found, it sounds like they asked students how prepared they felt for college. Is that maybe what it sounded like they asked them?
Yeah, they're asking how they were. Actually, earlier in the article, they actually asked them. They actually took a percentage of students that said that weren't really meeting the qualifications of high school, or from high school to college.
To college.
And then there was a lower percentage that were ready.
Exactly. The current statistic, I'm not sure if this is a grand total. I do believe it is just the current national statistic that on average 60% of high school graduates are not ready for either college or the workforce, and only 48% of them actually managed to make it successfully through college. Now, do you happen to know the national average of students graduating, at least as of last year? What percent of Americans graduated from high school?
It was 66%.
No, it wasn't. It was 81. It was 81.
Oh.
The national average is 81. It's like 81.5. And then Virginia is slightly higher than the national average. We're coming in at 84. This, at least, is according to the National Center for Educational Statistics. So that's the most recent data. We're graduating more people in America than we ever have been. Now, if you had to guess, because at first that sounds really promising.
Yeah.
The fact that we're graduating at least 80% of our population, if you had to guess, it should mean what about our country?
That we're progressing better. We are getting better with people graduating. We don't have that many people on the streets. People are getting jobs.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like so that means we've got a more informed society, an employed society, and maybe we should be seeing signs of some economic prosperity.
Yeah.
Now, just in your experience, does that seem to be the case?
No.
Okay, so what seems to be missing? The numbers aren't telling the real story. What's missing?
I think it's the backbone to it. I just feel like we aren't pushing ourselves as much, because it just seems that everyone, they're trying to do their best, but they're thinking about more of, I can try again next time, or there's so many second chances that people are getting that they shouldn't have second chances, and they need to be put somewhere else. It's like, you failed this, don't stop trying, but we're going to push you for this instead for right now.
Okay, so it sounds like you're telling me the system is making it too easy to give yourself excuses.
Yeah.
By giving us too many chances. But also, another class was telling me, and they're right, by sliding down the scale. You think about it, when we jump to a 10-point scale, suddenly it seems like they're trying to make it really difficult to get an F. There are some school systems that won't even let you assign a 0. The lowest grade you can assign is a 50.
See, sometimes having to fail will pick you back up. But if you make it too easy for students, then we're going to slack off, being a student myself.
I think I can agree with that. I think we were trying not to, well, not me, this was not my idea at all, but whoever came up with this, I wonder if they were trying not to discourage students, and in trying not to be discouraging, they didn't realize what they took away is the need to be excellent. If you have a million different chances, when do you take pride in your work? When do you say, you know what, this is a reflection of me. I'm not going to have everybody looking at me cross-eyed. I want them to associate my name with excellence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think more students have been, this is what I've noticed, is that more students in their foreign language class and
Right.
other classes that aren't the core classes, they take pride in their work and they're excited about it. And then they get to their core classes and they're like, oh, I got a second chance this time. It's not going to matter.
Although you bring up an interesting point in terms of foreign language. Now, I know that you take sign language, but let's actually think about your school as a whole. Do you know anyone who was taking more than 1 year of Spanish who can't actually speak Spanish?
Not that I know.
Really? I know a lot.
Not that I know. I don't know anyone. I think there are a few people. I know Julie Anna Duran.
Don't name people. We're on camera. This is not an expose.
I'm talking about she can speak it. I know that she took more than 1 year and she speaks it very well.
Right, but that's my thing. The thing is, I'm kind of looking at sometimes how in American public schools, we've got people who've taken multiple years of a language who can't speak the language.
Oh, I know.
Why are you in Spanish 3, and if I say a sentence in Spanish, you don't understand me? Do you see? It's like,
That's the problem. I think they need to retake that course again. The
well,
previous course,
someone
take it out.
told me, they said, in America everything's an exercise. Like we don't do things for real. We just want to seem like, just like by sliding the scale to make ourselves seem like we're competitive to other countries because, oh, look, we're graduating 80%. But what do those kids know? The statistic says 60% go off and they're not ready for college. So what are you teaching them? What are you doing? What do they really leave with an understanding of?
And that's in this article. It actually does talk about that the students aren't comprehending very much as well. And
Yeah,
you
there's
can't
that.
just throw your numbers out there and be like, oh yeah, I'm a winner, when you're not really winning.
All right, you don't know anything.
It's a hollow victory.
And the other thing, though, is I think sometimes, we can talk about the problem with students all day long. But I think at some point we have to zoom back and look at the system. Because at some point it became a systematic problem. For example, it seems like your curriculum assumes that everybody has the same dream. If you had to think about your high school career, what does the curriculum in general assume that you want to do?
To go to college.
Go to college.
They very much pressure you to do so, but not everyone always wants to go to college. Some people are.
And not everyone will benefit from being in college. The current research indicates that if you graduate with a bachelor's degree in psychology, social work, or any of the arts, you will only make $1,000 more than a high school graduate.
And that's not really.
That's
a benefit.
nothing for the debt that you're going to have. So you have to go for your master's to start making real money, or you have to go in what we call the STEM categories: science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Those tend to make more money. So what do you want to do, for example, Joshua?
I had 3 things in mind. I've always wanted to be a game designer, and I know that does with a lot of math and computer works. And I'm not very strong in math, so I'm reconsidering.
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes. And then I've also thought about being a plumber, because I don't mind getting down and dirty,
Okay.
doing what needs to be done, or being an interpreter for
Okay,
deaf people.
so you've got interpreting, plumber, game design. What do you take my class for? What's the name of my class?
English.
English 12. English 12 is all about British literature. So Shakespeare, William Blake, Lord Byron, Beowulf. At what time on a plumbing job or designing a game will you need to be able to recite Act 3 from Macbeth?
Well,
You never will. You're trying to make it nice, but you never will. Just like all my math teachers lied to me. They told me I was going to need this algebra 2 and trigonometry one day. I've never had to find the cosecant of anything ever in my life. Ever. You don't need that.
But there are sometimes, like in games, you can reference William Shakespeare, and it would be nice to know exactly.
If you want to. So maybe that would maybe apply more to yours. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
some things that you're taking as a part of your core curriculum that,
You don't
what does it
need-
have to do with your dream, with your vision? Okay. You actually answered the other question, but before I wrap us up, because I asked everyone where they saw themselves going, but we really have to ask, we're looking at where do you stack up against your peers. So the question is, do you know what you are good at? Because the hope is that it will give you some sort of a competitive edge. Because remember, once you leave here, you're not competing against your state or your city, or even your nation. You're really competing against the rest of the world, and that's what it means to have a globalized society. So tell me, Josh, what are you good at? What are your, they don't have to be academic skills, they could be workplace skills or leadership or social skills.
I'm actually very good at